officially live. So I made a video in a couple days, man. A lot of shit's been going on in the NBA playoffs. Man, I just want to say, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to Jason Tatum's injury. I heard that he got hurt. I actually saw the replay of the Achilles tear. That is a horrible injury to have. It is. It's a shitty injury to have, man. And, I've seen Kobe Bryant get that Achilles tear, Kevin Durant, Chauncey Billups. That's probably one of the worst injuries to have. I'm not gonna lie, real talk. Like, I'd rather tear an ACL than tear my Achilles. So, thoughts and prayers go to to Jason Tatum and his family, man. That's a shitty situation. I saw him on the ground, like, holding his ankle and crying and shit. It tore my heart in 100 pieces, man, because I tore my Achilles in the 6th grade. It's like it takes about 8 months to a year just for it to heal. And it's a bitch to have that kind of injury, And I wish him a speedy recovery. It shit sucks, Damian Lillard I think he has the same thing, Achilles tear. It's a shitty situation, man. You don't want to wish someone to get hurt like that, even if they are your arch nemesis or rival, anything in that nature. So, man, kudos to the fans in New York for showing their concern, especially when players get hurt. When someone gets hurt in that nature, man, that's a shitty situation to be in. For somebody that has torn his Achilles before, that's a horrible injury to have. So now the Knicks are up 3-1 in tonight's game 5. I don't see the Celtics winning at all without Tatum in the lineup. Like, he had 42 points in the game 4 before he got hurt. And that was the big difference maker there. So I don't really see how him being out is going to help the Celtics at all. And so I expect the New York Knicks to close that series out tonight also. If Curry doesn't play tonight and he's not healthy, even then I don't see Golden State winning 3 in a row, including they got to win 2 in Minnesota. I don't see that happening. I think Minnesota's going to close that series out against the Warriors. The Minnesota should close that out. That Denver OKC series is straight fire. Another spectacular performance in Game 5 that both teams put up. The Joker is amazing. SGA, another one. Lou Dort was hitting some 3-point shots, man. And Jamal Murray was on fire doing his thing. Man, what an amazing series that these two are putting up. So give a round of applause to the Nuggets and the Thunder for making the second round great. Pacers, give you a shout out for closing out the Cleveland Cavaliers. I thought Cleveland was going to win tonight. They had a big lead and kind of choked it away. They dropped 3 home games against the Pacers. And the Pacers managed to close them out 4-1. So it's going to be Indiana, most likely against the New York Knicks in the Final 4. For the other side, I got Minnesota. Well, I had Denver winning in 7. Should I still stick with that pick? I will say that I do think the winner of OKC and Denver will probably make the finals. Man, what an NBA! What a playoffs! This year, it's been great. These have been really just putting it out on the field, man. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm just going to throw this. The NBA lottery draft kind of looks rigged. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% odds-on favor of getting the first-round pick, and they were able to land that first-round pick with a 1.8% odds. And then, not to mention, San Antonio got the second pick. And so if you're Utah, you got down to 5, which you were one of the worst teams New Orleans, what, I think landed 6. So, like, all the worst teams barely got a top 5 pick, and yet you got teams that, some of them that made the playoffs or damn near made it, and they landed a top pick. This is crazy to me how the Dallas Mavericks were able to land that number 1 pick. I mean, they need to change the NBA lottery draft. They definitely need to change it. I think it's ridiculous the way they have it set up, to be honest with you. I think it is. They need to change the format and do like the NFL does, where basically if you have the worst record, you get the first pick. I mean, I don't see why they don't do that in basketball, why they do a lottery draft. And it's just like, it makes it look rigged when you have teams that have a 1 or 2% odds on favor of landing that pick, and all of a sudden they miraculously get the number 1 pick. This doesn't sound right to me. It sounds rigged. And then the fact you had the Luka trade on top of that even makes it look more suspect. Anyways, what do I think is going to be the top 5 picks? Well, obviously, number 1 is going to be Dallas. They're going to get Cooper Flagg. And that's not already to mention the fact they're going to get Kyrie back in December. And they're going to have Clay and AD. That's going to be a monster lineup. Not even mention who they pick up in the offseason. Dallas is going to be that new super team, bro. San Antonio's 2. And I'm going to tell you what the Spurs are going to do. The Spurs are not going to draft Dylan Harper from Rutgers. That's what everybody's saying they're going to do. I respectfully disagree. I think what the Spurs are going to do, and you heard it from me first, okay? What San Antonio is going to do is they're going to trade that second-round pick in a package deal to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's going to happen. I see it happening a mile away. And that's what even makes the NBA look more rigged, because of the fact that the rumors was Giannis wanted to leave Milwaukee, and then, San Antonio's the odds-on favor. I'm like, well, how miraculously does that happen when San Antonio doesn't have any assets to trade for Giannis? And now all of a sudden they miraculously land the second-round pick in the lottery draft. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't add up. And now it does. It adds up because it's like, oh, okay, well, now they got the second-round pick, and they got it awarded to them, and now they can use that as a trade package for Giannis. And the Bucks can, do a rebuild around the draft, and they can acquire assets. So, yeah, number 2 will be Dylan Harper. I mean, he would probably have to go from Rutgers, would go next. And then I think the 3rd pick is most likely going to go to, I'm going to say probably Ace Bailey from Rutgers. Same 2 players from Rutgers. So they're going to go to Rutgers. They're going to go at 1, 2, 3, 76ers. Well, got the 3rd pick, so they'll go Ace Bailey. And then number 4 will be Utah. So I think the Jazz got the 4th or the 5th pick. I'm predicting Trey Johnson from Texas is going to go to Utah. And that's not a bad pick, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not a Cooper Flagg. They got robbed. I think Washington's going to get the other guard from Duke. The best center in the NBA, right, that's going to go is, what's his name? I think from Maryland. Derek Queen, I think that's his name. He should be going to either Toronto, or he's probably going to fall to Toronto at 9. But that's probably the best center in the draft right now. There's not that many centers. There's only 4 half-decent centers, and that's probably the best one to enter in the draft. The rest are just guards and shooting guards, point guards. This is the guard league that we live in. But anyways, we got the NBA draft covered, but it makes you wonder if it's rigged, if this whole shit's rigged. I mean, I'm just saying this for shits and giggles. It just, to me, just doesn't sound right. How did San Antonio and Dallas land the top 2 picks in the draft when the odds on favor of them was like less than 1% chance? I don't know, man. I don't like that. It makes it look suspect, especially if you're a team like Utah, Washington, and New Orleans, who was looking forward to being the top 3 and landing a decent pick. Now you move them down the ladder, and they have to get a second-tier guy. I mean, that just, to me, doesn't sound right. I think you have the worst record in the league. You should be able to draft who you want to draft, especially if you're in the top. You should get the top pick if you have the worst record. But in the NBA, that's just not the case, I guess. They just say, nope, that's not what we're going to do. But anyways, so the Pacers finish off the Cavs. Denver and OKC are the that is the go-to of all series. Of every series in the playoffs, that is by far the best one. Is Denver and OKC, and I even think it's going to go 7. I don't see Denver losing at home in Game 6. I think they'll put up a brilliant effort. I think you'll see, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray doing his thing, Westbrook and Joker doing his thing, and Denver will win Game 6. And then you'll see Game 7 in OKC. I truly believe it's going to go the distance. They should have had Wemby, absolutely. I just don't like the way the NBA does their lottery draft. It just doesn't make any sense to me. How is it you have the worst record, but your pick is 5? That's like, what the fuck? That's like if the NFL did that. Like if you're like 0-16, but you enter a lottery draft, and then some team that finished like 9-7 gets like the pick before you. You're gonna be pissed, And so I'm just saying, like, it just kind of makes the NBA look just a little bit suspect. And it's like, what a surprise, the Luka AD trade, and then what a surprise, Dallas lands the number 1 pick. What a surprise, they've been talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo coming to San Antonio. What a surprise, San Antonio all of a sudden, lands the 2nd pick so they can use that as trade leverage to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. It just, it looks all suspect to me, man. I mean, there's some decent players in the draft, only maybe about 8 or 9 of them. Outside the 10th pick, I don't see any decent picks after that, to be honest with you. Maybe there's like 10 guys in that bracket that are decent. There's like maybe 2 decent centers, and that's it. And then the rest of them are just, the rest of the draft after 10 is just going to fall flat, But anyways, wow. Well, Tatum's injury, man, that sucks. Again, I hate to keep bringing that up, but that Achilles tear is no joke. A ruptured Achilles, look it up and go look at that injury, man. It sucks. It's a career destroyer. The only player I've ever seen come back from it is Kevin Durant and Kobe Bryant. All the rest of the guys that have, popped their Achilles, they're just not the same after that. Because it's a bitch trying to rehab that shit. Trying to rehab that Achilles, it's no joke. And I torn my Achilles back when I was in 6th grade. The shit sucked. I was on crutches for like 3 weeks. That shit sucked. And then it took like 8 months for it to heal properly. It's a bitch getting through an injury like that, man. And I wish the best of luck for him and his family, man. It's you don't want to see someone go out like that, Definitely get hurt. That Achilles injury is no joke. It's one of the worst, and then the way he went down too was a non-contact injury. So when you saw him go down, and like in the manner he did, it was like, oh God, I knew right then and there Achilles. And Damian Lillard, same thing. Ruptured Achilles, that shit sucks. I just wish that it doesn't happen to anybody else. But I know injuries happen in sports, so it's just, something that's accustomed. But that's a shitty injury to have. It is, man. It's like I was almost in tears when I saw him crying, because I remember when I tore mine, I was in 6th grade. I was at a friend's house, and we were like running, like in his driveway playing basketball, and we were running back and forth. And I know that I jumped like at the goal or something. I don't know what I was trying to do, but when I came down, I felt like a twist, and then I felt a snap. And I was like, I remember I was sitting on the ground, and I just remember I just sat. His parents weren't there, and so we had to wait for them to get home. And so I literally just sat there, and I couldn't really put any weight on it. And I knew right then and there, I said, okay, something's not right here. And then we got the x-rays, and the doctor's like, yeah, you slightly tore your Achilles. I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't rupture it, but I tore it probably like 30%. So I had to still let it heal, but it sucked. I was in crutches for like 3 weeks. I couldn't walk right for about 6. And then the let it heal naturally, it was like 8 months. That shit sucks. Now imagine you completely rupture it. You're talking about the rehab part, the surgery. I think Tatum just got surgery on it this morning from what I was reading. And it's a bitch, dude. And it's a lot of pain and just a rehab. Like Deshaun Watson tore his. I think Deshaun Watson's a piece of shit. Yeah, but I don't wish the injury upon him like that. I think he's a piece of shit, but I don't wish, injury upon him, the guy. And he rehabbed that Achilles, and then he tore it while he was rehabbing it. Retore it. That sucks. Imagine rehabbing it and then you tear it again. Wow. That just is a deal breaker there. I mean, I just can't help but to feel bad for the guy. I mean, I just think he has a rotten personality, a bad attitude, and he doesn't want to play football anymore. But that doesn't mean that I don't wish that upon him. I definitely don't wish that upon him. And that's just a shitty injury to have, dude. It's of all the injuries I would think to have, other than the obvious, like a bone sticking out of your skin or something, or like something of some serious nature, that is probably got to be a silent killer injury right there, the Achilles tear, because it just looks like there's nothing wrong, but you tear it. It's just a shitty injury to have. So prayers go out to his family. Same with Damian Lillard. I saw that Donovan Mitchell tweaked his ankle. I thought at first maybe he tore his Achilles, because the way that he looked at halftime against Pacers and he went down, but then he kind of got up and I'm like, okay, maybe doesn't look too bad. And then it was just like, okay, he just has an ankle sprain. But shit, that still sucks too, to get an ankle sprain. It's just a shitty injury to have, dude. And literally your foot holds up like your whole body. So when you tear that Achilles, it's just, that's like that tendon that helps balance your foot between your calf muscle, and it's just a shitty injury to have. Shitty injury. I don't wish it upon anyone. So I was almost in tears when I saw Tatum crying, because I know from personal experience how it feels. It sucks. But if Kevin Durant can heal from it and he's still playing decent basketball, even though he popped, tore his Achilles or ruptured it, he came back and was pretty decent after that. But, a year and a half later, I think Durant came back. Maybe Jason Tatum can do the same. I doubt he's going to play next year, unless somehow they miraculously make the playoffs and they make a deep run. Even then, I don't see him coming back. I think he's going to miss all of next year. Damian Lillard's going to do the same. He's probably most likely going to miss next year as well. And that's just, again, it sucks, dude. That's a shit. I'm wondering now, does the NBA have way too many games? Is that what this is? Is this a sign maybe the season is too long? No, I know we're used to the 82-game season. Growing up, it was always 82 games, playoffs, 82 games. And now, it's like you look at it and all these players get hurt. I'm like, well, you're running up and down the court for 48 minutes. You're doing that 82 times a year plus practice. And then you got to do a whole playoffs. It's like, I wonder if the regular season is just too long and maybe they should consider shortening the season a little bit. So that way you don't get those leg injuries. I mean, just the repetition of constantly running up and down the court. It's just, I want, the high flying, the jumping. You got to jump in the air and then land on your feet and then, do all this stuff. And sometimes you just wonder, is there just too many games? Is that what it is? Is maybe it's just wearing and tearing on those legs? I mean, it makes you kind of wonder if that is the possibility. You can only overuse the muscle too much, right? So anyways, Curry's got that hamstring injury, and man, pulling your hamstring also ain't no joke. I also have pulled my hamstring before. That shit is pretty painful. And honestly, I doubt he's gonna be able to play tonight. I think he's out, man. I think that a week, They say, oh, well, Curry will just be out a week. I'm like, man, honestly, I think it's going to be a lot longer than that. I think like 2 weeks. It's just like they want Curry back to the playoffs. I'm like, man, I don't think he'll be able to make it. And it's kind of unfortunate because, you kind of want to see Warriors beat at their best and have Curry play. And then all of a sudden he's not playing. It kind of sucks, like to see him play. You always want to see a team play and lose while their best players are on the court. You hate to see injuries be the parts, and it's like, oh, well, you only beat them because this guy got hurt. So it's always going to raise those questions. People say, oh, you beat a bad hurt team. And their stars out. There's always going to be that scrutiny. There's going to be like that scrutiny there. And that's why I say that, it sucks when you see players get hurt because you don't get to see the teams at their best. While best makes it more difficult. But other than that, man, I've had a fun time watching the NBA playoffs. I think they did a good. Again, I'm gonna keep promoting the NBA playoffs this year. I think they did a good job in building the rivalries up. The players got involved in the trash talking. It was a little fun. You got the Cinderella teams like Detroit in the mix. Detroit making the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and them competing against the New York Knicks. That was a fun series to watch. You got to see the hatred amongst Pacers and Bucks, and them square off in the ring. I mean, to me, it was fun and exciting. I really enjoyed watching this year. And just to think that if you see Knicks and Pacers in the Final Four, and then you got, let's just say, Thunder and let's just say Minnesota for sake of argument, you are aware, I don't think any of those team finals or have won an NBA championship for some of them. Like, Pacers haven't made an NBA finals since when? Like, I think it was like 2001 or 2000. So imagine if they make the NBA finals. Like, dude, that would be crazy. New York hasn't made an NBA finals since when? 99. And then you got, the Thunder, I think they made an NBA Finals. They didn't win. I think that was the 2011 season or 2010 or 2012. I can't remember. And then you got Minnesota. I don't even think they've ever made an NBA Finals. So, there's just so much on the line there. That means, one of those teams will have the opportunity to win the trophy. I mean, what? And they all got to play each other. That in itself is going to be extremely fun to watch. Just seeing all those teams winning their first championship, making the finals, winning the championship that's going to make it more exciting for basketball. And so that's why I'm all looking forward to, the NBA draft, what moves are going to be made. I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and I hope you're listening. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to San Antonio. The Bucks are going to acquire the second pick, and of course some assets. There's going to be some more. There's going to be more package in there. I wouldn't even be surprised if Jeremy Sochan is going to be in that mix for the Bucks from San Antonio. And then you're going to see the Spurs probably loaded with Giannis, Wemba, Fox. And then you're going to have Chris Paul probably will resign. I mean, that's going to be a nasty team. Dallas gets Cooper Flag, which they are predicted to get him. And then you're just going to have him, KD, Kyrie, Clay. Oh, my God, bro. That's going to be nasty, bro. It's going to be sick. It's going to be a sick NBA offseason. Trae Young on the trading block. Probably John Morant. Dude, there's going to be a lot of teams going to be making some sort of trade packages and stuff. It's going to be a really exciting, fun year for basketball. This offseason is going to be a killer. It's going to be a killer this offseason, bruh. Where's Jalen Green going? I heard the Rockets might trade him or might entertain the trade. You got also Steven Adams most likely will leave. Go. probably to a contender. Where? It's going to be kind of interesting to see, what kind of moves are going to be made at this point. It's going to be very interesting to see. Now, what else do I want to say? Get off my chest before I want to go. Oh, yeah, Durant. Where's Durant going? Where's Booker going? Where's Bradley Beal? The Suns are actually in good poker position to make trades to acquire future first-round draft picks. I mean, the Rockets did it. They traded James Harden. Look at all these picks they got, man. All these players they got over the years. So it panned out well. Maybe the Phoenix Suns should take notes. Just saying, they should take notes and say, you know what, maybe we can do something with that. Just saying, we got 3 players, all the potential. Maybe we could trade them. Get some trade prospects. They can rebuild again. I think the Suns maybe should be entertaining shopping around Devin Booker. There's still some trade value there. Kevin Durant, still some trade value there. Bradley Beal, still some trade value there. There's a lot of trade value with these players. I've been obsessed in basketball for some odd reason. I can't stop fucking talking about it, even when I'm at work. I've been talking about it at work with other fellow coworkers and stuff. They're like, "Damn, Rose, you've been so obsessed in NBA." I'm like, "Oh yeah," because it's been really good this year, and it's been good to me. NBA has been very good to me this year. So I'm going to promote basketball because why? Because basketball is promoting me. It's won me over. I'm like, man, I'm ready to watch some more basketball. In fact, I'm going to go home and take a nap or fall asleep. And then guess what? I'm going to wake up on my off day and I'm going to watch some basketball. And we're going to get on this bitch later and talk some more NBA, man. I'm game. Let's do it. Let's talk some more basketball later, Rose. Let's talk some more NBA basketball. Are you guys down to talk some basketball later? Maybe do a little NBA podcast and talk some more basketball, man. I'm obsessed. My new obsession now is NBA basketball. That's my new obsession now. I figured out my new obsession is NBA goddamn basketball. So let's talk some basketball later, okay? All right? So if y'all aren't watching the playoffs, you are losing. You are losing today. If you have not watched the NBA playoffs, I recommend you turn it on right now and go watch all the games so we can catch you up just in case you haven't watched any basketball. If you haven't watched no basketball, I don't know what to tell you. This is the best time to watch it. Why? It's the NBA playoffs. This is the best time to watch foosball. Basketball, baby. The basketball's been good to me this year, so why not return the favor and promote the NBA Basketball League? So if you guys aren't watching any games, what you need to do is is X out my video. And what you need to do is you need to go on YouTube and go watch all the NBA highlights, all the playoff games from first round till the second round till now. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed because, like I said, if they got me so hyped up I could sit here and talk basketball for 8 hours straight at my job, then I know goddamn well they did a very good job of promoting it. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, okay, they did rig the NBA lottery draft. It's still gonna what does that do? It's gonna promote people to talk. How they talked about how the Chiefs they were rigging it for the Chiefs. And what do people do? They turn in and watch. Right? It's the same shit. They figure, okay, well, let's just go ahead and give Dallas the first pick, San Antonio, and let's cause a stir. Let's stir this one up, and then let's talk about it. Let's talk basketball. Let's get these people excited to watch. I'm not going to say the NBA is rigged per se on shots and all that, but I will say with the lottery draft, it looks rigged. No offense, but that shit looks rigged. The Luka trade was the dumbest trade ever. Luka's my favorite player and the best in the league, but hey, man, check this out. I'm going to tell you why I think the trade panned out for the Mavericks. Look at this next year. Just picture it in your mind. Cooper Flag, because that's who y'all going to get with the number 1 pick. And then you're going to have 80. You're going to have Clay. So you're going to have 3 fucking monsters on the court. And then you're going to have Kyrie coming back in December? Bruh, that's sick. There's a thought of that, just nasty. That's a damn good lineup. And not to mention what y'all will do in the offseason. Will Kevin Durant maybe be interested in playing for the Mavericks? You're talking about the Fab Five all over again for Michigan. That is nasty. Hell, I might even say Dallas might win the championship next year if they can pull that. If they draft Cooper Flagg and then they bring in Kevin Durant and you're starting five, oh my God. Just imagine the snakes. Just imagine people will be fighting to fucking go to those games. I don't think Cooper Flagg will be a bust. I don't believe so. I think he's the best player in the draft. Hands down. He's like the next Magic Johnson. Have you seen his passing skills and his shooting capability? The kid can ball. He can ball, and I think Dallas got a great steal on that, even though I think they rigged it for the Mavericks, but I think it's a great steal. That's a great steal. You have to draft Cooper Flagg. That's the best player in the draft. Dylan Harper will go second to San Antonio, but I'm telling you what's going to happen. San Antonio's going to trade that pick to Milwaukee. I'm telling you. And then Giannis will be a Spur next year. And of course, you know, San Antonio's probably going to have to trade future first-round draft picks, that second pick, and then they're going to have to trade maybe some role players. I could see Jeremy Sokan being in that deal. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Dallas and San Antonio are going to be stacked, Marvin said. Oh, absolutely. The Mavericks and the Spurs are in poker position. If you guys ever play poker, you know about position, which is the dealer after the blind, the first person to make the initial bet. Dallas and San Antonio are in the driver's seat right the fuck now. Right now. Luka, Kyrie, Clay, and Cooper. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that doesn't sound like a, look, I'm telling you, it's nothing personal. I think the Luka trade was great. And this is my personal opinion. Luka's injury prone. He doesn't condition well, and he has sloppy defense. And it's just, look, as much as I like him, it's his flaws are starting to show, and it looks bad. He looks lazy. He looks unmotivated. Now, granted, he had a 30 or 40 point game. And here's the sad thing about Luka. This is going to be the sad thing about him. And this is the reality of the fact. Luka doesn't make other players better. And that's bad. You know who makes other players better? Kyrie Irving. As sad as that, and Kyrie Irving's probably he has the best basketball IQ in the league. He makes other players better. Luka doesn't. It's sad, and Luka's not the only one. Giannis Antetokounmpo's the same way. As talented as he is, other players around him suck. He doesn't make them any better. I'm just being honest. Kevin Durant, very talented player, but he doesn't make other players better. Kobe Bryant makes other players better. Kyrie Irving makes other players better. LeBron James, to a degree, makes other players better. There's some players that are like team guys. They distribute the ball. They can get them involved in scoring points. Look at the Indiana Pacers, for example. Tyrese Halliburton is the hype man. You got the other guy. What's his name? What's that other guy? Not Miles Turner, but not Halliburton, but Pascal Siakam. He makes other players better. Tyrese Halliburton, he's like the hype man. So, like, all around, you see the Indiana Pacers, the ball movement, how other players are getting involved. You don't see that with Giannis on the Bucks, because he doesn't make other players better. It's just, if that makes any sense. So, for example, the Rockets, they got a bunch of players that can distribute the ball, and then, they kind of play off each other's momentum. I kind of like that team basketball effort instead of one player isolation, which I think that's going to affect Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks in the next round. When they play a team who is more organized fundamentally and distributes the ball and gets multiple players in double scoring figures, the Pacers are going to expose the Knicks for that. Outside of Brunson and Ginobili, off and on, Karl Anthony Towns, off and on, outside of Brunson's isolation, that might win you a couple of games. I think now deep in this playoffs, it's going to affect him against a team that can share the ball, distribute it, that runs transitional offense, and can score. And it's just, you got kind of like a Batman and Robin. I think the Pacers fit that role a lot better than the Knicks. And I think the Pacers beat the Knicks in 6. My prediction. He ignites the light other players didn't know he had it in him. Yeah, there you go. Nembhard, yeah. Luka's way less injury prone than AD. I agree. Anthony Davis will never gone more than 10 games. I agree. Luka makes people way better. I don't know. His defense is not as bad as people say. Cooper is better long-term investment for Dallas. Absolutely. Finally. Absolutely. I agree. I just got off of work. That's why I'm kind of talking like this. But if I was in my room, I'd let y'all see me, obviously, for those of you who haven't. But nah, man, I've been really promoting NBA basketball lately. Man, I've been really being on this shit. We got 2 games tonight. Knicks and Celtics. I think Knicks close it out. I was watching NBA, what was that with Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson and them? Kenny the Jet Smith, and I think Dwight Howard was on the show, and Jalen Rose. And they're all like, oh, Celtics are going to win game 5. I'm like, without who? They ain't got no. I mean, look, I'm not saying that Pritchard's not good. White's another good guy. Brown's another good one. I'm not, and Horford's okay. I'm not saying that they're not, but there's going to be a difference without Tatum in that lineup. Absolutely. There's no way the Celtics win without Tatum in that lineup. No way. They're going to get, I'm not saying the Knicks are that much better. They're going to squeak by and win. And Minnesota, is going to close out Golden State if Curry doesn't play. And if Curry plays, he better be healthy enough to play. Because if not, they're done. And I think Minnesota's going to knock the Warriors out. It's just unfortunate that Curry didn't get to play. But, again, Minnesota looks a little sloppy. Outside of Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, Gobert, he looked okay in the first round against LA, but he looks real sloppy in this matchup against the Warriors. And the sad thing about it is they don't even have Curry. So you look sloppy against a team that you're supposed to dominate against. And Gobert doesn't look too good in that series. And either does what did the other guys, not Ant-Man, but Jaden McDaniels, he don't look that good either. Outside of Ant-Man, their offense just looks really bad. Julius Randle's okay. I'm not going to say he's great or bad, but, I don't think he's worse. But, Minnesota does not look like in a dominating fashion better than Warriors. In the 3 games Curry's been absent, they only really blew the Warriors out in 1 game. And the Warriors still managed to come back and almost win and get in the last game. So, I don't know. I think Minnesota's so overrated outside of Ant-Man. Ant-Man is overconfident and cocky, which I get it. I understand, that's okay. I like the confidence. And I like the fact that he can back it up. I'm not going to say he's not good. He's an amazing player. But is he going to be able to beat the OKC Denver winner with that sloppy offense they have? That's going to be the question, and I don't see that happening. Denver is, in my opinion, is the most talented team on the board all around. From the bench, having Chris Braun, Westbrook, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, the Joker. They have all around the most complete team. I just don't know if they're going to beat the Thunder. I think that they had multiple opportunities to win Game 4 and Game 5, and they fucked it up. I just think the momentum is on the Thunder side at this point. And is the wear and tear on Joker having to carry the team, is it going to wear down on the Nuggets eventually? And it looks like that might be the case. I think Denver's running out of gas. And that Thunder with that young group of guys, Dort, and SGA, and Holmgren, they look nasty. Nasty. Nasty out there. Yo, the Mavs went to the finals last year because of Luka. I'm telling you, that one S10. Okay, so obviously you're a Mavericks fan. Tell me how this looks next year. You're gonna have, you could have Cooper Flag at the power forward position, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you land Durant. Oh my God! And then you got Clay. Then you're gonna have AD and Cooper Flag at the power forward center position. That's pretty good. And then you're gonna have Kyrie at probably the shooting guard, or maybe even a point guard. He's probably gonna bring the ball up. You're gonna have Clay, most likely the small forward position. So really, it's just gonna come down to the 2 guard position. You know, this is going to be nasty. The Mavericks are gonna be damn good next year. I'm telling you, I don't see the Cooper Flag being a bust. I think he's really going to be good next year. I have this crazy hunch that it's going to happen. And you'll be thanking me for this video. And you goddamn right, I'm gonna go actually. Look, if the Spurs pick up Giannis and the Mavericks pick up Durant and draft Cooper, I might actually have to bandwagon and go to a couple of games like I did last year for the Mavs. I'll go to a couple of Mavs and Spurs games next year. How about them apples? I might actually have to fucking bandwagon for a couple of games and go watch the Mavericks and Spurs. Because, you know, San Antonio's like 2.5 hours, 3 maybe. And then Dallas is like 4, 5 given traffic, pending traffic. So, you know, Houston's kind of like the center point of the 2 cities. So it's kind of like I can make those trips to go to those games. I'm telling you, the Mavericks are going to be straight fucking fire next year, and so are the Spurs. If they land Giannis. The Sixers got the 3rd pick, and they get Ace Bailey. But the question is, does Paul George remain a Sixer? And does Joel Embiid want out? So now I forgot about that. Could the Sixers possibly shop around with Embiid and maybe see what draft capital they can get? Do they want to retrust the process again? I mean, it's something to consider. You know, you could trade Paul George and still get something for him. I don't know. And then build around Tyrese Maxey. I kind of like them apples. I mean, I'm just, you know, giving, hey, food for thought. Have you ever thought of owning a dog? Well, actually, I do have dogs. Bro, 187OP. I'm telling you, bro. You are right. You are right. You are absolutely right. Imagine 3 Texas teams being a powerhouse next year in the division they are with OKC and Denver. Oh, my God. Or with OKC, that's going to be sick. Nasty. McNasty. McNasty. Even though NBA doesn't really promote the divisions, but it's going to be nasty. One nasty NBA season next year. It's going to be nasty. I can't wait, man. I'm already excited for the games tonight. You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to live stream basketball tonight. We're going to do that at the restaurant. I'm going to Bogey's like I did last time. I'm not going to show the game. The last time I got flagged. So this time I'm just going to do audio. We get to see my ugly face, and we get to talk basketball for hours. Just straight basketball for hours. Non-stop. Like the way I'm talking now, be non-stop. But I'm going to have some wings. It's 75-cent bone-in wings. I want barbecue, and I want my chicken extra crispy. With a side of ranch, and I'm going to go watch both basketball games tonight. Tonight. The first one's at 6:30. That's the... I think that's the Celtics-Knicks. I want to say that's the first one, and I think 8:30 is the next one, and that's the Warriors-Wolves. So, what are my predictions? Well, it's simple. The Knicks are going to beat the Celtics. You know, Celtics might make it like a little bit close at one, but Knicks will pull away. No Tatum, there's no chance. It's over. And then so the Knicks will move on, take the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to be a fire series right there. Nice. But I still think Pacers win in 6. And then I got, who's the next one? The Wolves beat the Warriors. No Curry, they don't have a chance. Only way that the Warriors have a chance is Curry has to play and he has to be healthy. Period. But the gauntlet of having to win 3 in a row, I'm not saying they can't do it. It's going to be hard. Then you got to win 2 in Minnesota of those 3 games. That's going to be tough. The Warriors really should have won game 3 and they wouldn't even been in this position. But yep, shit happens. I think Giannis is going to, PG. Yeah, I agree. Paul George out of Philly. Yeah, I agree. I think they even get rid of Embiid. This NBA offseason, I'm telling you guys this now, is going to be the best in a long time you've ever seen. You're going to have Memphis getting rid of John Morant. I see that happening. And then I see Atlanta shopping around for Trae Young. I see that happening. Giannis is leaving. No question about it. Durant's leaving. Booker's leaving. Bradley Beal's leaving from Phoenix. Philly needs to shop around Paul George and Joel Embiid. Now the question with Denver is if they don't win the championship, does Jokic want out? This is going to be a very interesting offseason. Hey, Colin, are you going to Bogies tonight?
Yeah.
Are we going to watch the Knicks and Timberwolves? I got you on the wings. My treat, I'm paying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see you tonight?
Yeah.
Bogies the spot?
Yeah. No, man, my son fucking bullshitting, dog. He fucked up. Dad, we got to go back home. I got to brush my teeth because he doesn't want to go to fucking, he wants to go 20 minutes late so he's not marked targeting his shit.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't take my meds, so I had to fucking take a right.
All right, so are we going to Bogies tonight? I'll see you at 6:30. We got 2 basketball games on tonight. We're going to talk basketball all day today.
Got it.
I'll see you at 6:30. Celtics, Knicks, and then the other one's Warriors, Wolves tonight. I'll see you at 6:30. All right, take it easy, brother. Hey, wings my treat. 75-cent wings. Gotcha. See, I told you, I get everybody around the block up. Dude, I'm telling you, I promote Bogies so much, they need to pay me. I promote that damn restaurant, that bar and grill place so much. That's my neighbor, by the way. I told him we're going to Bogies tonight to watch basketball. He said, oh, absolutely. He honked the horn, in case y'all didn't hear that, because I told him I got him on the wings. They're the 75-cent bone-in wings. You cannot beat that. Barbecue, buffalo flavor, atomic, mango habanero. They got garlic parmesan, the whole 9 yards. And you can't beat that price, man. 75-cent wing night, Wednesday night at Bogies. Man, you can't beat that. And they got Bogies in Mo City, and they got Bogies in I stay in Mo City, so the Bogies is the one in Mo City, and then they got a second location in Pearland. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that one's busy. That one's a lot busier, but I don't know anybody up there. So I personally don't make that trip out there. So I go to this place because everybody from the neighborhood goes up there. So I recognize people I either went to school with, neighbors up there, friends, shit like that. So I see a lot of people up there. So it's more familiarity. You know what I'm saying? But tonight is Bogies night. That's the 75-cent bone-in wings, man. You can't beat that, man. What's up, Spider? What's up? Man, I haven't been this excited in basketball in about 6 years. Ever since Toronto won the NBA Finals, I stopped watching basketball for a while. I just went to a couple games here or there, and I just gave up on that shit. Then this year, I went to a couple Mavericks games. I went to Dallas. My homeboy lives in the Grove. So we went over there, and we went to the Mavericks game on the 3rd against the Magic, smashed them, and lost to the Pacers on Monday, and then beat the Bulls on that Wednesday on November 6th. I was going to call in the work that Friday against the Suns. That was the game that Kevin Durant hit that game 1 and 3 in overtime to beat when the Suns came in and beat the Mavericks. And I was going to call in, but some told me not to. I said, nah, I'm just going to go to work. And, I came back to the H, and then You know, I've been watching basketball, man. I just really been getting fired up about this shit, man. You know? Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. The NFL times and date comes out today. And guess what? They already announced the Thursday game. Dallas Cowboys head to Philly to take on the Eagles September the 4th on Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and go with Philly to win that one. The defending champs, the Eagles, man, the Eagles look great, by the way, man. You know what? I think the Eagles actually might repeat. Even though I'm a Texan fan, but I think Eagles might actually repeat this year. They look damn good. And what is it about that quarterback sneak shit they do and no one can stop them? I don't get that. I mean, there's a science behind that shit, because that tush thing, whatever that shit they do, it works. It's literally 4th and like inches, and they're getting like 3 yards every time. No one can stop them. It's just that players try jumping off like early jumps to get them. It don't work. I don't know, man. Philly just figured out a fucking science behind that shit, man. They got that shit rolling, though. But that tush pull, that tush push thing they do on that 4th and inches, that 4th and 1, and they getting 2-3 yards every play. I'm like, man, that shit works. They learned the science behind it. I don't know what it is. I've tried looking at it, but I'm like, man, they did something. They did some science or analytics or something. Whatever that is, hey, man, all kudos to them, because it sure as hell works. Yeah, man, then the Eagles look good. Hell yeah. Yeah, I was streaming the other day, and the damn phone cut off on me. And then I tried to resume the stream, it wouldn't let me. So I just said, fuck it. I just ended my stream. And we're talking basketball. I was doing my predictions. I didn't get a chance to call the Minnesota game. But obviously Minnesota came out and won. That's who I picked anyway. It was the game 4 against the Warriors. Man, I'm telling you, man, basketball's been fun this year, bro. I can't wait till the draft. I'm gonna do. Look, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and do every draft prospect, but obviously number 1 is gonna go to Cooper Flagg. Number 2 will be Dylan Harper. 3 will be Ace Bailey, both from Rutgers. Number 4 will be I think it's VJ Holmcomb. I think is his name. I think the Hornets will get him at 4. Number 5 is what? Or is not, no, the Philadelphia 76ers is 3. So they'll get Ace Bailey. And then number 4 is Charlotte. They'll get VJ Holmcomb. Number 5 is it Washington or is it Utah? I think it's Utah. I think they'll get Trey Johnson from Texas, the guard. Other than, I looked at all the players, other than maybe 10 of them are halfway decent, but the best one is Cooper Flagg. You'd be a fool not to pick him, and they say that, well, maybe Milwaukee should trade Giannis to Dallas and get Cooper. I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I was Dallas. I could get Cooper and get Durant in the offseason, or a 5th guy, just maybe a Booker, something like that, and skip Giannis and let Giannis go to another. I think San Antonio will leverage that 2nd pick for the Bucks, but they're going to have to trade probably. I could see maybe Castle being in that deal, Socan being in that deal. Who's a small forward they got? Vassell, I think that's his name, or something like that. I could see something like that happening, and maybe some draft picks, future first-round draft picks, plus the number 2 pick. I think the Bucks would consider it. And then in return, you get Giannis, Wayemba, Chris Paul, Aaron Fox. You get Fox. You still have Fox from the Kings. That's a nasty lineup. Nasty lineup there. Spurs and Mavericks in poker position in NBA to build super teams. That's crazy. It's going to be fun. Maybe Trae Young should go to San Antonio. You know what? That's a good idea. Woo, man. I'm ready to watch the basketball. I'm going to be promoting this shit all summer. Oh, I'm safe. I'm chilling. I'm in park mode, baby. I'm just talking basketball. Yeah, tonight the scheduled times and dates come out, which I'm looking forward to that. Who do the Texans play in week 1? To me, personally, I don't really give a shit. Either I'd say give us a hard opponent, and let's just get the game over with. I saw 2 games on the schedule, and the only 2 games I think Texans struggle at that we should just throw us the first game of the season to get it over with. Because I'd rather lose early than lose late. That's how it kind of works in NFL, college football. You win late, so that way you can make that push for a seeding, a proper seeding or a division title. I'd say either go at Kansas City or at Baltimore. Just give us the first opponent right off the bat. That way we don't have to be in the snow trying to play them later on in the year and possibly a playoff hunt. And get it over with. I'd rather start the year off either at Kansas City or at Baltimore. So I'll predict Texans will be at Kansas City or at Baltimore week 1. So we'll see. We'll roll the dice and see what happens. But man, I can't wait for the games tonight. I hope Curry plays tonight because what kind of sucks is that it looks like there's going to be 2 blowouts tonight. And that is the Knicks blowing the Celtics out and the Wolves spanking the Warriors' ass tonight. I'm hoping that at least Curry will play somewhat half decent if he does come back to play tonight. So that way I can make it somewhat enjoyable while I'm sitting there eating my wings, my bone-in wings. Today is Bogey's night. Yeah, I'll give CJ some time. Oh, I'm getting plenty of time. Absolutely, we picked up Cam Robinson. We drafted a guy we drafted an O lineman in the draft. So we actually got a decent O line. Plus we picked up that receiver Higgins. He's pretty good. We got a running back as well. So man, the Texans we stocked up a little bit. I think the AFC South, they really fucking stocked up today in the draft. I mean, of course, Cam Ward went number 1 to Tennessee. Everyone saw that coming. And then Jacksonville went ahead and picked up Travis Hunter from Colorado. That was a pretty good 1-2 duel. So I'd say the AFC South really they kind of hit stride in that draft. Wow. Where did Quinn Ewers go to? I think he went to Miami. If I'm correct, didn't the Dolphins pick up Quinn? I believe so. I wanted Matthew Golden so bad. The goddamn Packers got him at 22. So when the Texans came in right after that, I figured, okay, we're going to get Matthew Goldman, and then the fucking Packers took him. I'm like, God damn it. I wanted that receiver so effing bad. It's Madwood had him. And Green Bay stole that pick. Yeah, Miami got Quinn. That's what's up. That's what's up. Marvin said, I love your energy, your sports video energy. It's back. Well, it's back for now. I don't know, man. I think the NBA kind of rigged that shit for the lottery. But, for the entertainment purposes, I could say I'm entertained. I kind of like it. I kind of like the fact they rigged it. I love it. Rig it some more, goddammit. Yeah, man. And then remember, Damian Lillard tore his Achilles. Remember that King Twister? Donovan Mitchell was hurt with the ankle injury. He retweaked it in the third quarter. Kind of unfortunate. You know what, man? Imagine if the NBA Finals is Denver and the Pacers. That would be pretty good. Or let's say Pacers and OKC. Or Minnesota and Knicks. Man, it's going to be a nasty NBA Finals this year. Nasty Finals. I want the Knicks and the Pacers so effing bad in that third round. The Eastern Conference Finals. Remember the old days, Reggie Miller against Patrick Ewing, and Spike Lee used to talk shit to Miller. And Miller with the 2 threes in the 8 seconds, or 3 threes in 8 seconds. Those rivalry games, those rivalry matchups, the Knicks and Pacers. Man, and you bring that back, man, that's going to be nasty, bro. 2 players have torn Achilles. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, I'm a diehard Longhorns fan. Man, I bleed nothing but orange and fucking, I bleed nothing but orange and white. Come on, man. You know what's funny? I got U of H down the street from me, and I also got Rice University. And people told me, well, would you ever root for the Cougars? I'm like, fuck no. When they made the playoffs last year in college basketball, they went to the championship, and everybody at the bar was rooting for the Cougars except for me. I was the only motherfucker rooting for fucking UT. And we lost Xavier. And everyone said, why don't you root? It's still Florida Houston. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I bleed nothing but orange and white. I'm not fucking rooting for no Cougars. I'm like, if I was to root for anybody outside of Texas Longhorns, I'd root for the Rice Owls. But, you know, I bleed nothing but white and orange, man. My loyalty is with the Texas Longhorns, bro. I cannot root for another team, for at least for college football-wise. Now, our basketball team sucks, but the women's, the Longhorn ladies are not that bad. They made the Final Four, but I think they lost to South Carolina, if I'm correct. Which they were the odds-on favor until UConn beat them. But, yeah, our ladies in basketball are not that bad. They've had better success than our men's basketball team, believe it or not. For some reason in basketball, we suck. We're always losing the first or second round. But, of course, if Longhorns are in there, I'm going to support them. But, you know, we lost to Xavier, and then Xavier lost to Illinois the next round. So I was happy about that. You know? But, yeah, I'm a diehard Longhorns fan. I don't root for nobody else. We play Ohio State in week 1. Oh, we fucking kicked the living shit out of them. I know they're defending championships. They don't have Howard anymore. I understand that. But we kicked the living shit out of fucking Ohio State in week 1. You kidding me? We fucking open up a can of whoop ass on them. Stone Cold Texas style. We head up to Ohio State. That's going to be a nasty fucking game to start off the year. So if we want to start off, we're going to start off big. We got a big game against Ohio State, the defending champions. So that's going to be a nasty fucking matchup, bruh. So how we kick the living shit out of them. You know? But yeah, man, after basketball ends, next month, the finals are over. The only thing that's left to watch is baseball, unfortunately. But I'm a casual baseball fan. I love the Rangers, but, you know, again, I don't really watch baseball until right around August, September. That's where, you know, last 30 games when it matters. The pennant chase is on. Teams are fighting for playoff positioning, seed-in positioning. That's when it kind of like tenses up a little bit. But I will say that the team that shocked me the most this year so far in baseball is the Oakland Athletics. They're 22-20 and got the last wild card spot. I was looking at the standings earlier. I couldn't believe it. I said the Oakland A's were actually a good team this year. Wow, that is crazy. Detroit's another one. I think they were number 1 in the whole thing. The Tigers look pretty impressive. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to see how baseball turns out for the playoffs. But, you know, it's kind of still early in the season, so still a lot of baseball left to be played. That's to set a Thanksgiving Day record for sure. Yeah, the NFL announced the Chiefs are heading to play the Cowboys for Thanksgiving. Oh, that's going to be... Yeah, we did Michigan. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like I said, I'm calling it now. I am calling it now. The Cooper Flag going to Dallas. And the Spurs are going to trade that second-round pick in a package deal to Milwaukee for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm telling you, the writing's all over the wall. And then the third pick is going to, and then, of course, who does Milwaukee pick with the second pick? Well, they're still going to go with Dylan Harper, obviously. And the 76ers shop around, they're going to get Ace Bailey. And then they'll probably end up having to trade Paul George and probably Joel Embiid and see what they can get for him. Maybe they can get some draft position in for the next, 2 or 3 years. Have to rebuild. I like Joel Embiid. He's talented. He just has no heart. And not only that, he's not mature enough. He kind of reminds me of Dwight Howard, where he's not serious enough to win. And that's unfortunate because talented as Joel Embiid is, he's too immature, man. And it's starting to it's been showing. Maybe his heart's just not in Philly anymore. Well, then he needs to go somewhere else. You know, trade him now. While you got the trade position to do so, the trade value, he can still contribute to another team who's contending, who will trade you some assets in return. Draft capital, role players, boom, and then shop around and get rid of Paul George's ass too. I would get rid of him. I'd get rid of him, and I'd get rid of Joel Embiid. I would just come out and say, listen, the process didn't work. We're going to go ahead and rebuild in the draft. Just say, you know, I mean, that's all you can. Honesty is the best policy. And just say, you know, the Joel Embiid experiment didn't work. It's over. And it's time to move on from that and build around Tyrese Maxey. I think that's what the Sixers should do. You know, plus they can get Ace Bailey with the third pick. That's not a bad pick. So, as I said, they're gonna have some little chess pieces. Who's the most overrated star in the NBA? Oh, absolutely, Trae Young. He's over fucking rated. He's a midget. And the thing is with him, it's nothing personal. I just think he's overrated, dude. He's got that little like tear duct shot he got when he goes by the free throw line. He can shoot. He's just too small. And it looks obvious. And the thing is, you got a whole bunch of players on Atlanta that can't get any better because Trae Young's ball hog and he's got a bad attitude. And that's not good for business. So if I'm Atlanta, I'd shop around and get rid of his ass in the offseason. It's business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing personal. You know, I would shop around and get rid of him. He's actually bad morale. I would just get rid of him and just hit the restart button. And as far as John Morant in Memphis is concerned, he's kind of like Joel Embiid. He doesn't take the game seriously. He's a high flyer scorer. I give him credit for that. He actually does make other players on his team better. I'll give him respect to that. I just don't know if he takes the game seriously. I just think that he doesn't compete at a level where he's ready to win. He's just arrogant and he's bad for PR. So I would just shop around and get rid of him too. And I'm just being honest, you know, from like a business perspective. You know, I'm thinking like from a GM perspective, bad PR nightmare, guy's going to have problems off the court. Maybe perhaps we should just trade him and just see what's out there and what we can, you know. I'd make the announcement. I would tell Morant's agent, hey, look, listen, we're going to go ahead and move on from this situation, and we're going to take the best offer we can get. You know, I don't know if he's got a trade clause or something, but I would shop around definitely. Absolutely. Because I figure with players that are talented like that, you can still kind of get assets from that. So why not go ahead and strike while the iron's hot, then wait till they've already passed their prime years and you get little draft capital. That's why I say that you need to jump on the gun as soon as possible. You know, he went to the Bucks. But Dame tore his ACL or his Achilles. He's out for a year. And then the same thing with Tatum, and that's unfortunate. Now, of course, you get rid of Giannis. Do you keep Lillard? Does Lillard want to stay a Buck when he rehabs and comes back? I don't see that happening. But I wouldn't trade him just yet. I'd let him rehab first, see where his head's in. Just tell him, look, you know, we moved on from Giannis. We're rebuilding. At this age, you're 33, 34. You probably don't want to be around this. We'll go ahead and shop around. You know, once he's better and he rehabs, you could bring him back and then just say, listen, you know, Giannis ain't here no more. We're rebuilding around the draft. I don't think you want to go around that again. So we'll just go ahead and see what we can get for you. And I like Damian Lillard. I think he's a great guy, but I think for the sake of his purpose, he'll want to get out too. So it's just a business. It's a business decision. Giannis is gone. Lillard won out. Okay, no hard feelings, and then just trade him and then start building the draft. Because I'm telling you, look, the Rockets did that with Harden. And we sucked for 4 years straight. And then we made the playoffs this year 5 years after that damn trade. So if you're Sixers, Suns, Bucks, you have to consider it. Look at those assets and trade them and see what you get. Memphis, same thing. Atlanta, same thing. And rebuild in the draft. That's how you do it. What team has the best assets to give up? Oh, absolutely, Phoenix. Phoenix is in the best position to get the most because you're going to have 3 players. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Durant. You know how much you can get for that? A lot. You're like at least 8 pieces minimum for that 3-piece deal. 3-piece for an 8-piece. You trade 3 pieces of chicken and get 8 pieces back. Oh man, I'm good with that. Just Kevin Durant alone, you're going to get at least 3 to 4 pieces just on that guy. And then Book, you're going to get 2 to 3 pieces. So that's already like 7 right there. And Bill, you'll probably do a 1-for-1. And so you get 8. You get about 8 to 9 on that. A 3-piece for an 8-piece, 9-piece set? Man, shit. Sign me up. Maybe I'm just greedy. And I'm just, maybe I'm just selfish. And I'm thinking from like an owner perspective. But man, I'm thinking, I got to trade these guys and get some assets back, man, and rebuild, start the thing all over again. I mean, look what the Rockets did. Did the same thing. And look with all the good players they got. Dude, Rockets got a bunch of good young guys. And we're going to be good next year. And that's for damn sure. Look at me hyping up the NBA like I work there. Maybe they should hire me, bro. All right, well, I guess that's it. I'm going to go take a nap. And I'll do a live stream for Bogies later. I'll let you guys see my wings and shit. We're going to get the wings, the 75-cent bone-in wings. Man, you can't get the wings. Man, you can't beat that, man. That's the 75-cent bone-in wings. You can't beat that. That's the best deal in the house. You're going to feast on wings and go watch the game. And you know what else is good at Bogies? Those fried mushrooms. The fried mushrooms. When they make them right, and you get them fried crispy mushrooms, and you put them bad boys in some ranch, shit. You can't go wrong. You absolutely can't go wrong. But yeah, the NBA has been, it's been fun this year, man. A fun, exciting season. Now, I've just been so amped up about these goddamn games. So I'm going to promote the NBA some more. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to promote them some more. So I'm going to get some sleep. And I'm going to see you guys a little later. Peace.